So, I've decided to do something of a recap of my campaign. It's been going on for over a year now. It would have been a year in November that this campaign started, Psycha. It started as kind of a high-level adventure, so I could take a break from the other campaign that I had started with this group called Hellhounds. That one had only been a couple months old, but I had already gotten to the point where I had run out of ideas. So I needed something fresh, so I thought, okay, high-level campaign, just throw random monsters at them and have fun. It evolved into probably my favorite campaign I've ever done. Ever. Like, literally. And I've been playing for 10 years as a forever DM. This has been my favorite. But to start, we have the players. I will show you them. We have the 2 players at the moment. We have more now. But to start, we had Austin, the Tiefling Gunslinger. He is pretty dang powerful. Right now he's level 14. 12 fighter, 2 ranger. He started at level 10, and he's gotten to 14. This campaign started with XP, but I slowly realized it was taking too long, so I changed them to milestone. Next, we have Heron, the Artificer. These are the 2 players. Austin, played by Eddie, and Heron's. I say Heron Surge. It's actually Heron Suge, and I'm a little dyslexic. But Heron Suge, played by Pat. But to start with, they were in the village of Psycha. It was a basic village. It was like, hey, I kind of want a hub. Just they go in, they get their supplies, they go out and do an adventure, come back and forth. It evolved into something much more intense than I thought. But to start with, they were on the outskirts of Psycha. Heron was living with a blacksmith named Cinny. He rented the upstairs room and provided services as an artificer. Austin lived in the town. He was kind of more or less a drifter. He had arrived in the town a year prior, and he was just living, he didn't really know anybody, didn't really talk. He was friends with one of the other kind of adventure, kind of local legend, Victory, an Aasimar fighter, who became her own character in a sense. But yeah, they started at the edge of the village, just a normal day, when they heard a mighty roar come from the edge of the village. They rushed over to see a group of commoners running by, being chased by a Spinosaurus. Which, it wasn't too much of a fight. This is kind of how it ended up being for most of the campaign. They trounced this Spinosaurus, like, easily. They defeated it so quickly, wasn't even a struggle. And that was the very first encounter, basically. They stopped the Spinosaurus, killed it. And now, Psycha, the lands surrounding it are kind of weird. It's full of dinosaurs, but they're more or less friendly. So the fact that a Spinosaurus had not only come into town, but also attacked, raised a lot of alarm bells, so they were like, okay, we're going to send them out. The very first quest they got from the mayor, Built, a Minotaur, was, hey, go figure out why the dinosaurs are getting so close. So, they just, after being told, hey, we need you to go and save our town, not save the town, but hey, figure out why these dinosaurs are getting more and more aggressive, they made their way to a body of water, a lake, where they found a plethora of dinosaurs deceased, in varying states of decay, half in the water, half out of the water. The water itself was putrid and disgusting. And they also, upon examination, ran into a druid named Alina, a halfling NPC that I had come up with to help. She basically played the role of a healer, because they didn't have one and I was concerned that they might die. But they, nothing really happened at the lake. I believe they encountered some, giant crocodiles, but I was not using D&D Beyond's virtual tabletop to do encounters. I was literally just using the encounter builder. So all the maps don't exist. It was all theater of their mind up until a certain point. But they got to the water, they met Alina, and she's like, hey, my druid circle sent me. I'm from the Juliet Sea, farther south, and I'll tag along and help you try and figure this out. So they followed the trail of gross worm-like ichor up the side of the mountain to an icy encampment. The encampment was completely destroyed. There was remnants of a fire and a lot of bodies of Dragonborn and Kobold. They rooted around for a while until they stumbled upon an ogre half frozen into the ice, still alive. They did battle with it and defeated it. However, upon it dying, it expelled 3 giant worms. Now, these are rime worms. This is not what I used. I cannot remember or find what statistics I used for the worms, so I'm just using these guys as placeholders. But basically, they infested this ogre, and the camp of Dragonborn and Kobold had been sent by the Asturian Empire. The big bad antagonists, they've become sort of... They share a role with the current antagonists, like they're bad guys and we want to defeat them, but they're not top priority. But the Dragonborn and Kobold had accidentally excavated and freed this ogre, partially, who was infested with parasitic worms that were slowly making their way down the water, down the melting glacier to the lake, and were infesting dinosaurs and, killing them and driving them insane. So they defeated the worms. They went back to Psycha, received their award, and that was the end of the first session. It was fun, I'll admit that. It wasn't like the best session, because I'm an okay dungeon master. I've been doing this for 10 years as a forever DM. I think I'm okay. I'm not perfect. I don't do voices. I struggle to remember things. But as long as my players are having fun, that's all that matters to me. And they had fun. And we decided, okay, we'll continue with this. We'll carry on. And we'll make a campaign out of it.